What's up, everyone? It's your boy Infrared. Welcome to the Scott Report. Today I bring you an anime review of Bungou Stray Dogs, episode 5. Let me start off by saying that I may have been a little bit too hard on this series. The reason for that, and as I've said in every video about this one, is that they say this is a seinen anime, and that's what I was expecting, and it's me. It was all me, because after almost missing out on Ajin and just a longing for something like Tokyo Ghoul, something more serious, it was just something that I'm in the mood of wanting to see right now. And I come to the realization that that's not what we're going to get with this series, and I'm completely okay with that, because as you can see, I'm grinning from ear to ear as I thoroughly enjoyed this episode, and I'm comfortable if this is the pace that it's going to have the entire time. Now, it's still pretty early in the series, so there is still room for that darkness to come, but with episodes like we got today, I'm completely okay with that. I'm okay with this being a seinen manga or anime series, only in the sense that it deals with older characters instead of being, you know, the shonen type or the high school type of series. This episode, we're introduced to a character by the name of Rampo, and for those of you that are familiar, that is a Japanese author who specializes in detective stories or mystery stories, and boy did he not disappoint. As I can say, he is easily my favorite character in this entire series, even better than Dazai right now, as he just had the perfect blend of comedy and laid backness that just brought a smile to my face, and I enjoyed everything about him and what he brings to the table to the agency. So without further ado, let's get down to the breakdown. So this episode starts off back in the Armed Detective Agency office with the aftermath of Black Lizard after they are attacked and got mopped up by the agency. It is here that we meet Rampo as he's being sent out to investigate a murder mystery for the police. Now Rampo already starts to flex his muscle as he says, "I am the only true detective in this agency. The rest of you guys are bums compared to me. The police call me because they know that I am guaranteed to solve the mystery. I am well renowned for doing this, so you guys can just sit back. I'll go take care of it. Get your game up. Let a real detective handle this." So with that being said, Kunakina actually sends, I always forget his name because it's such a tongue twister, but the main character's name is Atsushi, and he sends Atsushi with Rampo, not because he needs his help, but because with all of his vast knowledge, he doesn't know how to catch a train. So he sends Atsushi with him to teach him how to catch a train and get to our destination, and that's where our mystery will begin. So now we're at the scene of the crime, and we find out that the murder victim is a woman who was found floating upshore, and she had 3 shots to her chest. And the police, especially the head detective of this crime, doesn't want Rampo's help on this. They feel they got this, they feel they can do it themselves. Meanwhile, while they're investigating the body, someone calls out that they found another body, and they start to pull it up with the net. So everybody's rushing to it because they think maybe it's another body, or maybe it's something that can help them with the case. Come to find out, it was just Dazai's ass who was floating in the river, and Atsushi's like, "Are you trying to kill yourself again?" He's like, "What? No, heavens no. I'm over trying to kill myself. What fun is that? I want to commit double suicide. What fun is it to die while I can die with a beautiful woman?" So he's completely over trying to kill himself. Now he's all about that double suicide, and he says he was just out taking a stroll. So now Dazai is going to join us as well after only having like 4 seconds of screen time last episode. So back to the investigation. We find out that this woman was the subordinate of the cop who is over the investigation, and there's also another sergeant there by the name of Sugimoto. And Sugimoto says that this woman was investigating a corrupt politician, as well as having some type of involvement with Port Mafia this politician had. So it's highly speculated that she was killed because of that. He also notices that the 4 shots, or the 3 shots that were in her chest, or the 4 shots, I'm sorry, it was 4. The 4 shots in her chest was a staple of the Port Mafia. But however, Dazai goes ahead and corrects him on that by saying that this couldn't be the case, because if it was Port Mafia, not only would she have 4 shots to her chest, they curb stomp your head first and then they shoot you, which is pretty bad. And remember that Dazai is an ex-Port Mafia member, as he would have known the methods of these guys better than anybody right now. So with that being said, we can already see that something is afoot, as it looks like someone was trying to blame Port Mafia for this crime. However, they didn't execute it correctly. So this is where Rampo starts to kick in, and this is where the episode really picks up, as we just starts to see him shine and strut his stuff all the way through with his ultra detection ability that he has. He challenges one of the cops, especially Sugimoto. He's saying that I can solve this case in 60 seconds. And that came up because the head cop says, I don't need your help. Get out of here. Any one of my detectives here will be able to solve this case better than you can. So Rampo puts him to the test by saying, fine, you got 60 seconds. And he automatically puts Sugimoto on the spot as he's trying to figure it out. And as he's trying to come up with something, he's behind him going, oh, you lost 10 seconds. You got 50, 40, 30. Naturally, he can't figure it out. So once we get to that point, Rampo then comes in and says, as I said, not only can I solve this in 60 seconds, I can do it less than that. And Daizai comes in and says, uh-oh, this is when it's going to get good. You know, he pulls the whole Deadpool like here's some superhero landing. As Rampo puts on his glasses and the energy flows around him, he uses the power of ultra detection as he says, I am able to find out who the killer is. And the killer is you, Sugimoto. Shocked, right? So Sugimoto, of course, is looking like shocked, and the head detective is actually trying to cover up for it. He's like, there's no way my man could have did that. Looking at this, it was clearly a murder method. She stuck her nose into something she shouldn't have, which I wasn't aware of. But this is where Rampo starts to flex his muscle again by going ahead and further investigating and saying, I know he did it. I know why he did it. Allow me to check his gun for the evidence because the bullets were nowhere to be found. Like, I know where the evidence is. Allow me to check it. Sugimoto is reluctant to give up his gun at this point, which further adds to more suspicion. However, he ends up giving it up at the urge of his commanding officer anyway, as Rampo says, not only can I find the evidence, I can take you guys upstream to where the body was, where this lady was killed, where the blood is, and where the footprints as well. So we start to head to that destination, and we fast forward a little bit as we already see Sugimoto in custody, and this is where everything starts to open up from here. In the investigation room, Rampo gets to work on opening up the case as we find out that Sugimoto failed the police test 3 times, even though his dream was always to be a cop. So he was offered a position in the police force at the behest of this politician who got him a place on the police force in exchange if he does his dirty work and hides evidence for him. The woman who was murdered was investigating this politician of something that they call the Diet members. I'm just going to call them politician because they didn't exactly explain what that was. But she was investigating this politician who again also had some type of tying to Port Mafia. She was investigating both of them at the same time. She got in a little bit too deep and the order to kill her was put out. And that order was laid down to Sugimoto, who confronted her one day at gunpoint and pretty much begged her to stop trying to investigate these things. But being the person that she was, she didn't want to stop doing what she was doing because she felt it was right to take these people down. So not wanting to take out the task, Sugimoto actually put the gun to his own head and was about to kill himself, but she ran in and grabbed the gun from him, and that's how she got the shot to her chest as she lay dying. He reports this to the politician, who feels that this isn't enough because, you know, if he turns himself in, not only is the politicians inside the cops is gone, Sugimoto is going to go to jail as well. So what he does is he tells Sugimoto to make it look like Port Mafia did this by giving her the 2 shots to the chest, which he gives her the two other shots, the 2 other shots, or was it? I believe it was 4. He gave her the rest of the shots. So I'll just go ahead and say that. He gave her the rest of the shots to the chest, and he left it at that so it can look like Port Mafia was the people that actually did it. He didn't curb stump her though. He just gave her the shots to the chest and dumped her body in the river. With this finally being deduced, he goes ahead and he decides to confess to his crimes, and he even tells Rampo where the evidence is right now. So with this case being solved, the commanding officer congratulates Rampo as he was able to solve this mystery so flawlessly and says, you know, you're welcome back anytime. Rampo is like, hey, it's no problem. As a matter of fact, the next time you need my help, I'll even give you a discount. So as we're going home, you know, Atsushi's very amazed by Rampo's ability and how he was able to do everything so well. It's like, wow, he really did see through this case, open it up, and use his ultra detection to figure the case. But Daizai actually comes in and says, you know what? He really doesn't have an ability. What? He doesn't have an ability. He's just really that damn good. He says that Rampo is the only person in the armed detective agency that doesn't have the ability, and that's why he is so respected. This dude is Batman out here. He is in an agency full of all these people with these special abilities. He doesn't have none, but he is so good at what he does that he stands above all of the rest right now, as he was able to figure this all out just by movements, by putting things together. And one of the things that Daizai picked up on to kind of tip them off is that Sugimoto mentioned that when they found the body, he said something along the lines of someone took the time to shoot her 2 more times. How would he have known that would have happened? If first glance, you would have thought they probably would have shot her all at once. So Daizai kind of patted himself on the back for saying, you know, I figured that part out, but I can prove to you that Rampo doesn't have any abilities because I used No Longer Human on him, and when I touched him, I didn't feel anything at all. It was always known that he didn't have an ability around the agency, but he was able to prove it to himself once and for all by doing that. So he solved this murder on his own with just his wits. And again, he is so funny, just like how he was timing the guy like, up, you got 50 seconds, 40 seconds, and he was just so animated. He really does demand a presence, and I hope we do see more of him later as he brings comedy, a sense of intrigue, and he's just badass. I hope he can fight too, because that would be awesome if he's this great and he can throw them hands. You definitely got the best character in the series to me right now. So that pretty much ends our episode, as you know, he doesn't know his way around, so he needs Atsushi's help one more time. He's like, hey, you need to get me back to the agency. And that ends our episode overall. Again, a wonderful episode, a very good episode, and a great introduction to Rampo. And next week looks even better, as the preview shows that Kurikawa is back and he's about to square off against Kunikina. So I am super hyped for that as well, because I'm sure he's a beast with that book and the ability to pull out anything. So holler at me in the comments. Let me know what you guys thought of this episode. Did you like it overall? Do you still feel the same way about Bungou Stray Dogs? Like, were you always going to stick with it? Or were you expecting a more darker tone? Or did you even have a new leaf coming into it like me, where I can just accept that it's going to be a lighthearted series? It just focuses on older characters, hence the Satan tag. Although I am still waiting for it to get dark, because I heard there is some parts where, like as we saw in episode 3, that it can get real. Either way, I'm strapped in for the rest of the ride. And I believe this is going to have 2 cores, so we're going to get 24 episodes of this greatness as well. So let me know what you thought of the video. If you liked it, go ahead and drop it a like. And if you want to hear more, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, as I continue to bring you guys more content daily. And be sure to join me tomorrow as I review Cabaneri of the Iron Fortress. And you know, it was Golden Week and all of the manga chapters came out early, so I'm not sure if anything's coming out. I doubt they will, but it'll be awesome if we did get a double dose. If we do get any chapters tomorrow, it will only be One Piece, as I've completely rage quit on Bleach right now, and who knows if I'm gonna cover it again. I will definitely try to bring you guys something else in its place, as I promised I would not only bring you guys anime reviews, but manga reviews as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and end it here, and as I always said, you guys anywhere on YouTube right now, but you chose to listen to me, and I really appreciate that. So thanks for stopping by. It's your boy Infrared signing out with the Scout Report. See you soon.